Hello everybody, welcome to astraeakeva. This is day number 121 and day number 122 of my daily art drawings. I thought about various ways to go about it. I just thought it's easier for me to just work on the art piece that I'm working on a given day, and then hopefully I can get it done just in time. So yes, this took me 2 days to draw, but I had a lot of fun drawing it. So yes, in today's video I will not be talking about this art piece. I'll be talking about other things. So I hope you guys bear that in mind. I just like some videos that I've been watching lately where they have like podcasts or people sharing their thoughts through Voiceover. So that's what I'm going to do in this particular video. But just to talk a little bit about the art piece, I've been studying a lot of like manhwa style drawing. So instead of only focusing on semi-realism, I'm also going to focus more on manhwa style so I can get a feel for the type of art style I'm looking for when I create my webcomic in the future. With that being said, this is what I ended up drawing, and it was fantastic. Like, I enjoyed it. It was hard, but I just pushed through, and I was like, I need to finish this. So yes, this is part 1 of 2 parts and sort of like a storyline going on, but I'll only show you that in the next portrait drawing, painting, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, today's main theme for this talk is art's secret formula. So the geek side of me is going to come out in this particular video, simply because I enjoy science and I enjoy analytical approaches to life. So I don't know if I've already revealed it to people watching my videos that I actually studied mechanical engineering in university. I enjoy mathematics. I actually get offended when people talk about how they hate math, and I'm like, but why? Mathematics is like the best thing ever created. But yes, I like to think analytically. Although as an artist I like to express myself and express the world and how I see the world through my art, I like systematic, how should I say this? I like how things should be systematically planned out. So most of my art processes and drawings is more of an analytical approach to them, and I have a plan and steps to approaching them to get them done. So I just don't like spontaneous things. So I like planning things out. And I thought for a long time, I had a hypothesis. Now I'm going to speak more like a scientist. I had a hypothesis. Maybe art also has some sort of secret formula, right? Not only the artist themselves, but also the art creation process has some sort of secret formula. So when I started taking a whole bunch of online courses, I started to realize that a lot of what a digital artist, even when I was doing traditional art, is just a whole bunch of steps and different approaches artists take to get to that final art piece. And for example, if you're going to be drawing with graphite, you wouldn't be like smudging and trying to completely cover the entire art piece with graphite, because it's gonna reflect. Graphite has ability to reflect light. There are very few long-term traditional artists that actually use graphite to shade or to draw very dark areas of their portraits or artworks with graphite. A lot of what I did was I used a lot of charcoal to draw the darker areas, or I would use other mediums such as pens or something like that to get more of a darker shadows for all of my artwork. So that was sort of the system I took. Or I would start off with a grid and then fill in all the blocks of the grid to draw my particular portrait. And that was a system that I used. And so when I first started doing digital art, I was really confused because I had used the same system for almost 5 years. I would get a grid and put my reference in a grid and try to get as much of the realism, or how should I say, try to get as much of the likeness of my reference to my drawing. So when I became a digital artist, I was like, how am I going to do this? So for a very long time, I struggled with drawing semi-realism. You will notice in some of my first digital art, it looked very stiff because I was trying so hard to make my artwork as realistic as I possibly could make them. But now I'm more free. I can create, like this one, I can create some sort of comic book style art with much freedom because I've created this new system, this new formula that I'm using, and not spending so much time rendering my artwork. So I'm wondering if people are even interested in this topic that I'm talking about, but I'm still going to talk about it because I find it quite interesting. In mathematics, there is a certain formula that I learned from most of my mathematics and mechanical engineering professors, and that was always step 1, what information do you have? Step 2, what are they trying? What answer do you have to give? And how do you get from point A to point B? And so when I create artworks, I tend to have that same mentality. So when I started with this particular portrait, I really didn't know where I was going to go. But then I thought, I'm not going to draw my portrait from the get-go. I mean, I did a few portrait sketches a couple of days ago, so I'm just going to use one of my portrait drawings. And then her mouth was closed and there wasn't real story behind it. But then I thought, what if I have this girl who is either surprised or she is she's in this situation that could be either a state of awe or a state of, like I said, surprised or something like that, or she's trying to say something. Those 3 things. So what type of drawing would I have to create? Maybe if she's trying to talk, her mouth has to be open and all of that. I will talk about other formulas, but I'm just trying to talk about in terms of the concept of this art piece. So that's kind of the direction I was going to when I started drawing this particular art piece. And yeah, that it went pretty well. I mean, I challenged myself. I drew her mouth open. I'm learning slowly. But other formulas that I've adopted through time is, for example, when I'm on Medibang or on Photoshop, what I would do first, on Photoshop, if I'm trying to use a brush, I can actually change the blending modes of the brushes quite easily. But if you're using Medibang, Medibang doesn't have the pen, the brush settings that can be changed into any blending mode. So just using layers to create those blending modes. So there are certain ways that I do artwork on Medibang compared to artworks that I do on Photoshop. So that is sort of my formula. When I start drawing, for example, I construct the artwork, and then after constructing the artwork, I start to incorporate some anatomy, and then after incorporating some anatomy, I draw clothing over the constructed, anatomized, is that even a word? A character that has anatomy, I put clothing on them so it looks sort of kind of real. So, and then I draw very roughly. During that time, my mindset is sort of different. I really don't care about my artwork looking that good. As long as I get a feel for how my artwork might look in the future. So that's sort of what I focus on during this construction phase. And so I'm okay with correcting my artworks and scratching over it and starting over, because in my mind, it's not the final step in my formula. So I don't even know why I want to talk about this particular thing. Oh yeah. I know why. But anyway, let me share a story. A couple of days ago, I was on Facebook, and I'm a part of like a few art community sites, and someone recently wrote that they look at tutorials on YouTube, for example, or they're on online courses, and the coursework is quite easy to follow. And when they're following that coursework by that particular art teacher, they're able to do the art pretty easily. But when they are drawing on their own, and they are, how should I say, they're trying to apply what they studied, the artwork doesn't end up the way that they were imagining it to. And so I don't think that I'm in any way, shape or form special to give people advice, but I try to help other artists because I've struggled as well. So I just responded to that person, and I told them that I actually take notes. I take notes of my tutorials that I see on YouTube or any video platform site, or I take notes of my courses that I take online. I literally have a notebook, a physical notebook, and then I would even type up how this particular artist that I look up to creates art. And that is how I'm able to kind of understand what is happening. I am an analytical thinker. Only after I started taking notes did I begin to have confidence about the artwork that I create, and I'm able to apply what I study after referring to these notes. And sometimes I would step away from the notes. I'm still not confident to step away from them completely, but I still step away from the notes and then go back to them when I feel like something isn't right. So for example, this particular artwork, her jacket, especially her chest area and her breasts, weren't sitting well for me. So I really had to go back to my notes, my anatomy notes, and read through, where does her nipple line, fall in order for her whole body to look more proportioned. So that's sort of a formula that I have. And also the formula is not only about the steps that you take or understanding the software that you're using or something like that, but in my mind the formula is also about your mindset. So I have dropped so many art pieces. Even recently, like 2 days ago, I completely dropped an art piece because I just thought I'm never going to be able to draw this. I'm probably horrible at drawing this. But the moment that I start to change my mindset and I start to say to myself, I am no different than the artists that I look up to. All of the artists that I look up to, in reality, they have been doing art longer than I have. And so the level of skills that they have is a level of skills that I can reach one day if I don't give up. But if I prematurely just give up simply because I feel like I'm not good enough and all of these people are amazing and all of that, I will never reach that level. So my battle isn't necessarily against other artists, but against myself. And with every day that I draw, with these daily art studies, and then applying these daily artworks, I'm basically applying everything that I've been uploading on my site. So I'm applying my gesture drawings, I'm applying my anatomy studies, I'm applying all of these various things that I do. With time, my skills are going to increase, and my ability to draw things that I never drew in the past are going to increase as well. So that's sort of the formula that I follow, especially when creating artwork. Recently, I keep telling myself that I am going to be better tomorrow than I am today, and today I am better than I was yesterday. I'm learning so much. For example, I learned something about lighting and value. I learned something about color theory, such as using various color schemes such as monochrome or complementary colors. So I know something more today than I did yesterday. Even if it's not a lot, it's better than yesterday. So yes, I named a lot of things. I mean, I talked a lot about my past, being engineering major in the university, and then applying all of these weird analytical ideas to artwork. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, art is about expression. You're trying to express ideas and thoughts, and you're trying to express yourself through them. But I would go crazy if that was the only approach I had towards it. Maybe other people feel joy when they only focus on that, but I don't. I feel frustrated if I'm only focused on expressing some sort of idea. I have to follow my path, and I have to follow my formula to draw what I draw and do what I do. So I talked about 3 things in terms of formulas. The program that you use has a different formula. The drawing process has its own formula, and then your mindset also has its own formula for art. So that's all I'm gonna say. I know I'm probably rambling, and people who are gonna watch this video are gonna be like, what is she talking about? But I just wanted to share my thoughts and have more voiceover videos in the future as well. So please look forward to that. And I am officially done with today's drawing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I called this one You and I, and you might guess what the second drawing is going to be. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe, like, share, and comment. And thank you so much for 300 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.